What's up, everybody of Ireland? We're back with some more Irish politicians' insanity. So today we have another GRIPT reaction video. This one's called Can't Answer a Simple Question. Irish Minister pressed on misinformation. So I'm going to have two videos today about misinformation. I don't think I reacted to this one, but the description says, in a slightly heated exchange, Ben Scallions questions Ireland's media minister, Catherine Martin. So she's a media minister. It's like head of RTE, let's say the Irish YouTube, stuff as well, I suppose, about the EU's Digital Services Act, which aims to censor alleged misinformation online, which to me is insane, guys. I don't even know what misinformation is. Like, that's just an arbitrary line that they create. This is misinformation. The truth is really subjective most of the time, in my personal opinion. And if I was to be elected, I would absolutely allow loads of people to have their opinion. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion. Absolutely everybody, guys. Liberty and freedom for all. And I'm going to change the constitution and say shall not be infringed, so nobody can change it in the next 100 years. So I love you guys all. Like, comment, subscribe. Go support me on Patreon. Let's go.
Minister, as you know, today the EU Digital Services Act came into effect, which will attempt to regulate so-called misinformation on social media platforms, and your own government's Electoral Commission will fulfil a similar role nationally. So is it not dangerous for democracy that powerful state institutions will get to decide what is and isn't true?
I think this is actually a very important development for Ireland. So while the European Commission, leads on implementation and enforcement, provides the member states to establishment, to share responsibility depending on the circumstances of any particular situation. I think what we've done with Comisiún na Meán and setting that up as a regulator will protect children, mostly. That's the priority.
That's good. On the internet, absolutely have censors. I think you can put like blockers on your phone, even on your Wi-Fi now, so you're not looking up, X-rated stuff or crazy videos. People are getting, let's say finished on the internet, like crazy stuff like that on Twitter. That's good, right? To not see kids seeing that.
Children from harmful content online, and I welcome this today.
Sure, but I'm asking about the misinformation side of it specifically. Whatever about child protection, that's a whole separate issue. I mean,
yeah, no one's disagreeing with that, guys. Everybody agrees with that. But we're asking about misinformation. What's gonna now be misinformation? If some guy says something blatantly that's not true, or is it gonna be some conspiracy, or is it gonna be something that the government tells us that we don't know about, and then we find out years later that it is true or it was false? Because the government have lied to us so much, guys, we don't know what's true anymore. It's unbelievable. They said before they're not going to, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and Sinn Féin aren't going to come together, and they came together a week later. So, unfortunately, guys, we just lie. You get lied to all the time.
I mean, is it right for government and state institutions to be able to say what is and isn't true?
Look, we have, when it comes to misinformation, it's actually, it would point to the whole value of public service broadcasting and why we need reliable information. And I think under the DSA, you'll see that every state will designate a body to the DSC, and we have that person, that was John Evans, was appointed as our Digital Services Commissioner in on Comisiún, and I welcome the development.
But I'm sorry, that's not...
That's the best non-answer I've ever heard. What did you even say there? Dude, we're just getting the runaround here.
But I'm sorry, that's not an answer to the question. I'm asking you, do you think it's right and healthy for democracy for the government and the state to be able to decide what is and isn't true? Have you...
Ben, my good fellow friend, I'll answer that one. Absolutely not. It's not good for democracy, guys. Democracy is based on free speech, free ideas, guys. Like, I would say that if we can discuss openly ideas, even left-wing talking points, conservative talking points, Marxist talking points, communistic talking points, let's have a debate, guys. Let's have a discussion. But nowadays in the media, it feels like nobody wants to have a discussion. I was just talking to various people online, and I would love to see someone like Ben Scallion in his GRIPT Media Studios, or John McQuirk, whatever his name is. I'd love to set up kind of like a debate between different people, like Patrick Bet-David does. Something in Ireland. That would be the biggest thing in the whole of Ireland. Because obviously we have RT with primetime, but it's not very fair. It's not really a debate either. People are just like kind of kissing, ASS. So it's more like, one-sided leaning. What if we had like an open debate platform like GRIPT Media, which they're open to many ideas, and they're very fair. They're all for freedom. It would be great to see them do something like that. I would love to do that. I would come on that show every single week, and help my platform, you know, debate different people, like Destiny in the USA, you know, like have different debates, Jordan Peterson, have left-wing people, Slavoj Žižek, have all these different ideologist guys come in. That would be amazing. That's how we have the best countries in the world, in the Western world, you know, but now, not anymore.
Have you done any assessments, for example, to make sure that these regulations aren't abused or overused?
I think everything that we see in misinformation, anything that can prevent misinformation, is to be welcomed.
So you haven't done any assessment then to ensure that this isn't abused?
The DSA would lie with Minister Coveney's department, but Commission.
Let's just feign responsibility when asked a direct question about the liberties and freedoms that were getting taken from us, and get a non-answer.
The man lies with me.
Minister, in relation...
Minister, just on the Digital Services Act again, is it really good enough that you failed to answer the question earlier about whether or not it's...
She failed 3 times, Ben. Come on.
...acceptable for the state to regulate information that people are allowed to say and decide what is true or false? Should people be encouraged by the fact that the minister can't answer a simple question when we're literally regulating truth?
But Ben, save your breath, man. You're asking the question correctly. The question is not open for interpretation. The question is a direct question. You know what I mean? We all know what the question is. Ben's over here sweating, talking about, did I phrase the question correctly? No, dude, you phrased it correctly 4 times now. She's just not answering the question. It's just plain and simple, dude.
Answer a simple question when we're literally regulating truth itself.
I'm quite clear on the need to tackle misinformation, and actually everything that we're dealing with now points to the value of public service broadcasting and the immense valuable role it played during, for example, the recent pandemic.
None of this.
Dude, what a legend. None of this has anything to do with the question being asked. Oh, what a legend, bro. Come on, Ben. You're cracking me up, bro.
None of this has anything to do with the question I've asked. None of this has anything to do with the question I've asked. You've not.
I've answered it. You've not. Dude, that is the best debate I've ever seen. Bro, that's the best question I've ever seen. Shout out to GRIPT. So, like I said, GRIPT Media, go support them, guys. Go donate and help them out. You know, some of their stuff that they put out is great. You know, I don't agree with everything that anyone says. So, before anyone says I'm biased, every single person in the world is biased. This one is called Ireland's Misinformation Force Aims to Enhance Democracy. Now, we have a bit of a problem here, guys, because anti-misinformation force, whatever that is, like a task force, like special agents like CIA, NSA, majors, generals are coming in and enforcing to enhance democracy. I would say anything to limit freedoms of Irish people completely destroys democracy, guys. Okay, so because you're taking away freedoms from people, you're taking away the ability to speak about open subjects, okay, which we've had for years in Ireland anyway. So like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's go.
Our work is focused on the protection, enhancement of democracy in the broad sense, and the main function, purpose is so that we ensure that people have trust and continue to have trust in the election system, our democratic system generally.
Oh, that's I mean, guys, we all know that the elections and everything is absolutely amazing. Nobody over my side, which is kind of like liberal, let's be honest, guys, is, aiming to not have democracy and not have voting. We all want to vote and stuff like that, guys. That's a given. Of course, we remain that, guys. There's no coup d'etats or anything like that, guys. We're having proper voting systems here. Come on, this is...
Mr. O'Leary, of course, one of your Electoral Commission's purposes is shutting down alleged disinformation at election time, and in June of this year you told the media that the scale of disinformation around elections is, quote, enormous. I'm just wondering if you could give an example of disinformation that was spread during an Irish election that materially harmed that election in some way.
Let's hear the non-answer. I haven't watched these videos, but you guys think I watched these videos before. I haven't watched anything.
Okay, Ben, we're here to talk about the constituency review, but I'll make a brief remark, and we will return to this subject into the future, as you know.
No, they won't. No, they won't. They're not going to answer this question or return to the other subject. They were probably talking some nonsense anyway. Come on.
If for anyone who heard me speak in June, what I actually said was we spent 20 minutes with a panel of people who gave many examples of electoral misinformation and disinformation, and what I actually said was, as you have heard from the panel, the scale of this challenge is enormous. The Commission was established in February, and our job is to look forward, but we can't ignore the fact that there is weighty international evidence that electoral misinformation, disinformation carries on online in a survey or the research that was done between 2016.
You know, calling an opposition force, guys, no matter what that force is, if it's left wing, you know, right wing as they say, or if it's communist, Marxist, whatever you guys want to call it, having an opinion on something isn't misinformation, guys. You know, so, and when you say that, it kind of almost it almost like poisons the well, because you're basically saying in a roundabout way that anything that the opposition says or something that you don't agree with, your own bias, is like not correct in a certain way. You know what I mean? So it's you can't really say something's misinformation. Like, yeah, it's either like, you know, oh, that's a TV right in my room, that's a lamp, I have a lamp here, I have an Irish flag, I have American football, you know, these are like facts, but a lot of things are open for interpretation. So to have these debated ideas online, which most political ideas are debated ideas, you know, it's not, nothing is like clear set, especially if we get into like deep philosophy, you know what I mean? Like, we're talking about different ideas, guys, then that's becomes very vague, you know?
Research that was done between 2016 and 2021, 53 countries were examined, and in 92% of those cases there was found to be examples of misinformation, disinformation. Ireland wasn't one of those countries, but I think there is no reason to assume that we'll be exempt from this into the future as well. We're really looking...
So he just admitted Ireland's not even part of it. What the heck? What are we talking about?
Forward to getting stuck into this part of our brief, and we will be speaking to you all about our approach to misinformation and disinformation as we get to grips with the subject in the autumn.
Do you have a kind of a specific criteria for how you would determine whether something is true or false? Like, if you're presented with a piece of information, how do you distinguish something that's disinformation as opposed to just a difference of opinion, let's say?
Well,
I'll take this one, Ben. Yeah, no. The answer is no, they do not, guys, because it's so vague and it's so arbitrary. Let's just draw a line in the sand here. Let's just talk. No, dude.
They're defined very clearly in the legislation, Ben. So if you go back and have a look at how they are both defined, that's the standard of which the Commission, or me as Chief Executive, will make a determination in that regard.
I should say to those of you who haven't read the very long Electoral Act that we have very extensive powers to research the general topic of information and the way in which advertising happens around elections, but also we have powers to require the correction or removal of information we believe to be incorrect.
So the only misinformation that I can think of, and it's kind of harsh as well, because they're always blaming Russia for everything, is like Russian bots coming in and like telling you different ideas, and like I get some on my channel, actually, on YouTube, so I do know that there's some of that stuff out there. It does pay me, and it does give me subscribers sometimes. Very, very rarely. You can see the trend graph on YouTube. But when we're talking about misinformation, that's kind of interpreted by the people. Like, it just really doesn't make any sense around political ideas. Like, everybody should be thinking for themselves individually, okay, this is what I should be thinking. But if they're saying quote-unquote misinformation, is that misleading people? I don't know, guys, because you should be able to make that assumption for yourself, guys. Like, saying that there's outside people coming in, it's a bit of feigning responsibility again. For me personally, I take ultimate responsibility of everything I do. You know what I mean? I wouldn't, completely, say that, oh, this guy misled me, I didn't know that this was the idea, and da-da-da. Like, that's a bit kind of like...
And they are very extensive powers, not found, in fact, in that many other European countries. We're all going to have to become philosophers, in a sense. We're all going to have to learn how to test truth. And the Commission is going to have to learn, A, what the tools are and how to explain them and how to teach them, really. But we're also going to have to deal with the balance between the right of freedom of expression on the one hand, and on the other hand, the right of persons not to be misinformed. Okay. It will be a difficult exercise, but it's fundamental to...
The government, in my opinion, don't have to step in on that, guys. I can do my own research. Like, I'm not stupid. I'm 28-year-old adult male. Like, I don't need to be babied by the government. Hey, you got the wrong information. Well, is that according to your bias, or is that actually misinformation? So, be careful.
To the protection of democracy, absolutely fundamental, and it's regarded as such by all international bodies, I think.
Okay. We have Adam.
Alright, guys, again, non-answers everywhere. I love you guys all. Stay free, my beautiful Irish people. like, comment, subscribe. Go support me on Patreon, guys. I'm putting out these videos every single day for your pleasure. You know, hopefully we push GRIPT a little bit. When I started reacting to GRIPT, they had, yeah, good subscribers. Now they have 40,000 nearly. So yeah, unbelievable. Love you all. Stay free, like I said. I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Peace.